One trick to improve your composition is to utilize your surroundings as foreground elements. This week, I managed to shoot some examples of that, and I'll break them down one by one. This first photo is a wide shot with no foreground elements. There's this tree nearby that we can use. Let's try that. This shot is a bit too far from the subject, so I'm gonna crop in using the teleconverter. And here's the comparison. I think both have merits, but the second one definitely has more sense of depth. Here's the next situation. We have hanging branches and leaves crowning the frame. It creates this spotlight effect towards the subjects. I came across this bush with possible scenes on the left and the right. Let's start with the left. Yeah, that doesn't look that good. Let's try the other side now, which is a walkway, which I think has more potential. I think it's decent, though if there's just a single subject in the middle of the intersection there, I think it will look better. There's another scene here with hanging branches. There are people around, so let's take a landscape photo. I like how it accentuates the autumn leaves near the camera. These unusual looking branches can make quirky frames. That might be too quirky. Let's try literally shooting through the leaves, making it a prominent foreground. That looks quite unique. Let's wait for someone to pass by. Great timing. There's someone running here, and let's take a photo of that. The framing, the stance, the blur, I'm really happy with this one. A different angle of the same tree, and hey, that subject is already there. Here's the same building that we shot through the branches earlier. Let's try it without that foreground. That looks better to me. You definitely cannot just try to use foreground on every single shot. It depends on what you're shooting. A thin fence like this can be used as a lightweight foreground, especially with the heavy background of the buildings and the cars. I spotted someone wearing a yellow jacket that matches the fence behind them. Yeah, that looks decent and already has complex layers. But let's try adding a passing car as foreground. Now that's cool. Poles can make a minimalistic frame. Let's try shooting between them. The framing looks good. Now I just need to wait for someone to pass by. Alright, someone is coming into the frame. He's looking straight into the camera. Yeah, I think that looks decent. Here's a tree and a pole that we can use. Let's wait for subjects here to be in between them. I think I like the one with the car more, but the one without is simpler. What do you think? I tried to use these small trees as foreground for people subjects, but they didn't work out. So how about buildings? That construction worker is just sitting there chilling, so I want to capture that. Try using this small pole just to add a little bit of depth. Not sure if that worked. This train bridge thing can be great foreground for the buildings. Or maybe the buildings are the background and the train will be the main subject? We'll see. I quite like that. I guess I like motion shots in general. Let's try some more. Oh, there's also a tram track here. Interesting. Maybe we can get a train and a tram in one shot? Extremely happy with these shots. It turned out that the people are the foreground, the train and tram are the midground, and the buildings are the background. Or maybe it just depends on what you focus on. I waited for one more shot. This time there were no pedestrians crossing. It's more minimal, I like it, though I like the other ones more. On the docks there were these fascinating boat figureheads. Let's check them out from a different angle. From here, there's better separation between the figureheads, which are the subjects, and the background, which are the bridge and the buildings. While trying to frame the shot, I figured that I can use the back of the first figurehead as foreground. I like that the foreground provides context that there are multiple figureheads in a row. And it also gives you a sense of scale on the sides of the figureheads. This is the other side of that train bridge with a tram track intersecting it. I really like motion shots. The fence foreground and everything else that is still contrast and accentuate the motion, which brings the photo to life. The layer of buildings there naturally define its own depth. So yeah, sometimes the scene already has depth without us needing to purposely use something as a foreground. My eyes were attracted to these very reflective buildings. I like how the front building reflects another building and the building at the back reflects the sky. This is another example of the scene giving us depth. In fact, perhaps the trees in the foreground there distracts from the scene, and the scene would be better without them. This one wasn't quite captured on video. There is a person crossing the streets, and on the other side someone did the same. I think they were looking out for cars, but they looked like they were looking at each other. The camera focus was at the back, so I get two subjects with one blurred in the foreground and the main one in the background. This person has a bright blue jacket, which matches the sign on the foreground pole here, and also the street sign at the back. I missed the foreground here, it's off camera, and on the right side there's a lot of nothing. If we crop it here, it looks better. But yeah, I reckon it would look better with the blue sign as the foreground. Diffused sunlight or lighting in general can also be foreground elements. In this photo, it softens the scene and almost makes you squint to see the other parts of the photo. The tram stop here is quite crowded. Let's try to capture that vibe. It's not the best, but I like that everyone's posture is pretty similar, looking at their phones, and that the reflection of the glass adds a layer of abstraction. This person in all black contrasts with the bright scene, so I thought it would be a good photo. This shot has the subject quite close, which is in the foreground itself. I think it looks neat. If you enjoyed this video, click here to watch more, and subscribe to follow my weekly videos. Thanks for watching.